wanting to go out and have a good time and not worry about like the competitive aspect of it, it makes sense to me. I can understand it completely, especially in a game like D&D where you're going to be playing like basically on a team. You know, you want everybody to be having a good time. Like if you're crushing and having a great time, and then meanwhile one of your buddies like character dies and you can't resurrect them, and that's a wrap. Like, yeah, you had the best time and everything, but you know he probably did not. If he's been working hard on building up this character, and then it dies off. So in that sense, like, you know, you do want to have like the DM is essentially like an integral part of the team, even though he's sort of like the bad guy, or she. You know, I say he, but there are female DMs. So, but anyway, who'd have thought we'd be talking about Dungeons and Dragons? Not me. Not that I'm against it or anything. I've just never been into it in the same sense. I did play like fantasy Warhammer way back in the day though, and enjoyed it just as much, if not more, than 40k. I did always sort of enjoy 40k a little bit more though. I'm not gonna lie. Like the space future kind of like guns and explosions has always been just a little bit more appealing to me than like the fantasy. But I did used to play. My main army was Wood Elves, who were awesome. But the models now are like phenomenal. I know they're like a whole different faction or two, but the models are absolutely phenomenal. Alright, so we got that basically right where we wanted. We got our stairs built over here. This is a little bit janky. I'm not going to worry about it. I thought it was because this was like angled, but I think realistically this is just off a tiny bit. But again, I'm not worried about it right now. I'm not going to glue it. We got the spiral staircase. Definitely looks awesome. It'll look even better with some railings on there. And then the actual catwalk itself looks pretty good so far. I think realistically I could glue this. Set that bad boy on there. Okay, yeah, perfect. So you can basically run right up the middle. Boom, boom. Stop on the stairs for that sweet shot. Yeah, that looks great, honestly. Still got a little ways to go, though. Basically. Yeah, so we're not actually going to use any of those. Wow. So really, realistically, by not using the catwalk, by not using like any of these guys on the catwalk, we basically have like an unlimited amount of them in the future. We can make anything we want into a floor now, permanently. But I think one piece will get used right here. That's the plan. So we would have one piece come right there. Because it doesn't make sense if you could pull up here, because you can't like roll anything over top of that. So I figured there had to be one piece right there. Although now that I look at it, it could go right there. Nah, I like it more centrally. Yeah, that's slick. Could have a little stairway hatch that goes up there. No, I think the stairs are kind of being in the way. I think I am going to go ahead and glue one right here. And again, if I were you, if you're still planning your stuff out, I wouldn't glue anything right away. Like, it's kind of a pain, but maybe get like some poster tack or something like that. And, or just do what I do, where you just put like a little dab and then you can kind of snap it back off if you want to. That way you're not locked into your positioning. But again, I have like a much better idea, like what I'm planning on doing, etc. So I guess here is an option where I could kind of make up for all these extra pieces that I'm going to have. Rather than putting the floor across here and going straight across this, rather than doing that, I could essentially just shift it over one space and do it like that. So that would just basically, I think it would have to go like this. Man, that's so weird though, because without that little trim piece in there, I don't know if it's gonna line up correctly. It doesn't feel like it will. And it's not gonna look right if I just put one of those guys over there. So if that was cut off right here. Yeah, it's not gonna be right. You would have to do so the way you would do it is you would have to cut off one of these pieces, or essentially I guess you could do it like this. You would have to just use it like that, and there would be that little gap on both sides, or I guess realistically that looks like it takes up just about half. You could cut this off and move it over, and then cut one of these off and put it on the other side, so it would essentially like take up that whole portion. That would probably be your best bet, and that may be what I do. I did cut a couple of them off already on situations like this where it's like sticking off and you're not going to use it. So that may be the way to do it, but you would basically just run it like this and then have the next one, you know, obviously you don't want to have it staggered, it wouldn't look right, but okay, that makes sense. So yeah, that's essentially what we would do, and then we could take like these, the next piece right there, you would cut off that piece, and then again, let me look at how this is. This is going to be the exact same situation. You're basically just going to have to like stagger this off to make up the distance, but you can do it. Oh, is this going to be 2 now? Wow, that's interesting. Alright, so yeah, you'll have basically to stagger both of them. So where this one ends will be fine. Your next one will continue on, but then you'll have to stagger the next one. So yeah, you're going to need to cut these pieces off and save them if you're going to do that. This is definitely an option though. But you would basically, these two would be going on an edge without one of those pieces, and then the third one you would have to use basically a situation like this, where it forms a whole piece across there. Yeah. And then that would line it up with the center of this piece in the way that you obviously want it to be lined up. But that would be if we run the catwalk over here versus if we do it the traditional way and just run it right here. So it's almost like, alright, is it worth the extra work to do that? Or should we just run it straight across here the normal way? So yeah, that's exactly how it would be. Yeah, we'll have to see. I have so many of those pieces now. Because the way I set this up, I'm basically like not using any of those. So right now, let me switch this one out. I think right now I basically would be using, I'd be using like one of these triple guys to kind of bridge that gap right there. Sort of like we did right there with the floater. Which is, I'm not opposed to it. I had actually, like, up until yesterday, had a full column right there. But I like the idea of that pipe and everything. And it also leaves, like, a little bit of extra room if, like, something crazy happens. And maybe, like, I don't know, an extra large adversary, like a tank or, you know, a mini knight or something like that shows up in, like, a bonus mission or something that you have to fight. Who knows? I mean, like I said, it's not fully planned out yet or anything. I just thought it would be cool if, like, you know, you had like a rhino or something, or a predator, like rolling through the underhive. I don't know. It's probably not very thematic to the dire, hardcore Necromunda players. But who knows? I mean, like I said, we'll be using this board for like kill team and stuff like that. So maybe playing like a kill team game, and you know, one of the missions has a cool little tank rolling through. Alright. So yeah, that's without digging into another sprue. That's as far as we can get, basically. But I mean, I have some more of these if I need them. I don't have the last set of stairs. If I decide I want to do another set of stairs right there, which I may, I don't have that one. Alas, I am all out. But that's easy to like add on as an accessory later. I wanted to have like the general shape and everything and the full catwalk and everything laid out so I can make sure there wasn't anything. And then other accessories and things that we want to change along the way, totally cool with. And I'm sure there's going to be some stuff where we're like, oh, that's a little bit overpowered or whatever the situation is. But overall, you know, I suspect this is going to be an extremely fun board to play on. Yeah, and I think if we just have like a little bit of a spacer down there, we'll be okay. Maybe slide an ammo crate in there for now. That's one beautiful thing about all this too is like, you know, once you kind of get the measurements down and all the compatibility is there. So, you know, once you get your like specific little pieces made, like the little adapters and stuff like that, you know, the sky really is the limit, because all of a sudden if you change something, you have like your piece set to like make up that little gap or that little distance or whatever. It's not like all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I gotta buy some new stuff or I gotta order more pieces if I want to run it like that. Like you're already set and ready to go. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Something feels, oh my gosh, whoops. I forgot that was floating. I was like ready to push down on that. I was gonna say something feels like it's just a little bit off. Just a tiny bit crooked somewhere. But it could be anything. So one of these pillars can sit like a little bit off. I'm moving everything around so much right now though. I shouldn't even be worried about it. But yeah, we're getting there for sure. Prior to that little earthquake I just caused. There we go. So we got our spiral staircase, we got the stairs through the middle. I'll build the other stairs on the back there, or really like build these stairs and put those ones back. Excuse me. So I think realistically I just need what, one middle piece, and then 1, 2, 3 more of them. So I think that's one more sprue. Yeah, you get exactly 3 of those pieces on each sprue, so that will work perfect. 3 of these guys and then 1 of these, and that's gonna do this whole piece of the catwalk. Now there is still a piece over here I was gonna do where I have it come out there, but again, that's one of those things I can add it on if and when I decide I want to. But I mean, this is already, I was planning on building like the initial set and then starting the paint, and then I started adding on with a couple little like accessories I had, and then obviously like, you know, ordered some more stuff. But I mean, I didn't want to get like completely carried away. Normally I like to limit how much of something like I'll buy at a time, and then I'll make myself like build it or convert it or paint it or whatever the situation is. So that way I'm like motivated, because you want to get more and you want to build more and you want to do this, that, whatever like your bottleneck is, you need to figure out as like a hobbyist, like your hobby bottleneck, and then find a way to get past that. So what I do is I set like incentives basically for getting past the bottleneck. So if your problem is like finishing things, like, you know, you want to set basically limits for yourself, that encourages you to finish things, and then